Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bug and I'm coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And we are continuing our game. We still cannot get the $400,000 loan, and I will not take a truck, buy a truck until I can get the big loan. So we're just continuing on in our odd quick jobs. Short routes, short videos, you know. It happens. What can you do? So I just drove a DAF Euro despite this being 31 tons, so I don't want to do that again. What I haven't driven in a while is the Iveco Stralis Highway. So just why don't we take this job? It's 343 kilometers. It's longer than most of the ones we've been doing. And yeah, why not? It's in the Iveco, which was the first expansion truck to be put into the game. It's the first truck beyond the originals to be put into the game when they first started doing updates and whatnot. So makes sense, doesn't it? More volume in my ears. Oh, we just got mail. Maybe now we can actually take the loan. Yeah, this will be the way out. Now, plenty of power for a 22-ton trailer. But we got to keep in mind, the Iveco Stralis here, we don't have... I'm not saying you can't get it, but we don't have the extended rear axle. We're just a simple 4x2, so... we have to keep that in mind. A very long trailer, just barely made that corner. So, yeah, what else can you say? I don't have a hell of a lot to talk about. You know, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. We're actually having a sizable meal here because there are people that are going to join us. Not people I particularly socialize with, but then again, I'm very, believe it or not, I'm actually very antisocial. I'm practically a hermit. I don't like going out places. I never did. I don't associate with very many people in person, and there's plenty of reasons for that, really. Stemming from my childhood, growing up, being the kid that was in school, that was picked on, to today just being big, and the difficulties that go along with that, and having again to deal with people, when I get up and go somewhere, as I mentioned, like before, movie theaters, people staring at me and whatnot. I just I don't want to deal with it. I just don't, Ooh, we actually, I think we clipped, very slightly clipped the edge there. I have to be very careful of these sharp corners. In truth, I should be taking up the middle of the road right now to make these corners properly. Let's just move it over here and get the directional off. Now, the Iveco is actually a pretty decent truck. It is the weakest of the starting trucks. I mean, when you start out, you will have a hard time. That's just the end of that. But it's also the most inexpensive. I don't know how much prices have changed recently, if at all, in the game, but the Iveco was the first truck that you could buy that was, or is, under 100,000 euros. And that's pretty amazing, You could take the $100,000 loan, buy an Iveco, and just run with it, no problem. And it didn't make a very bad high-end truck either. I think in terms of my ranking, if I remember, in terms of a high-end truck, it actually ranked up there around, it was over both, it was over both Renaults, and it was over the DAF, I believe. But I think it was under the Mercedes. So it ran about mid-pack with the Mercedes, you know, coming behind what I like to call the big three. The MAN, the Volvo, and the Scania. You know? I want to make sure here that I'm not going to get, like, pulled out in front of or something. Just using the upper gearing there to help slow me down a little bit. Now, this is an awkward situation if I were to attempt to pass here, because the spacing between the vehicles and the fact that there's 4 of them would make it a little difficult. Now, I've actually recently been watching the backlog series of Top Gear programs, and I actually love it, despite the fact that the information isn't overly relevant anymore about cars. But I love it because I love the chemistry of the guys on it. And I have to laugh sometimes when they talk about American cars, but I don't think they quite get it. You know, they talked about how Americans, like, we don't, you know, they talked about this one car, and it had like a 2.4, 2.6 liter engine, and, you know, they only got like 160 or 170 horsepower out of it, which the same type of engine in Europe, and it's particularly in Britain, would actually get a hell of a lot more. And, well, there's reasons for that. There's not many places, comparatively, around America that you're going to go, like, tearing off down a road. You know, if you get caught going, like, really, really fast in America over the speed limit, you could lose your car and your license on your very first offense. And it's extremely expensive, where in places like Britain, it's not so bad. And there are plenty of places in Europe where you're allowed to go fast. And we don't, and they talk about, you know, well, our cars don't corner well. Well, you know, I have to agree. A lot of our cars don't corner well. But a lot of the reason behind that is because on the roads that you're going to be doing a lot of cornering, you're not going to be going fast. Case in point, like you see me doing here. You know, it's just a lot of traffic. Wow, they actually went over the train track at speed rather than slowing down too much. I rather like that. Besides, Americans have actually always been about, you know, not racing so much racing around corners, is just full out, you know, speed down the track. I mean, you look at our most popular racing event, yeah, easily, NASCAR. Going in a huge circle as fast as you possibly can. You know, it's not Le Mans, it's not, you know, twisty, it's not very twisty or curvy things, you know. We like speed, but we like it in a straight line. So, you know, a lot of cars tend to be geared towards that. And I openly admit there is a different build quality to American cars when it comes to their upper terms of cars than it does to European cars. But that's because Americans are just a different breed of animal. Just different taste, but You could easily joke about British people too, but sometimes I have to wince a little bit when they talk about American people. I'm not particularly big on defending American pride. I mean, if you think about it really, really, really close, and please do not be offended by this. This is just an observation, okay? This is not something I like get fully behind, but it is something I think about. Tomorrow, we are celebrating a holiday where the native residents of what we now call the United States were saved. We're saved. Sorry, I got that backwards. Saved is the correct term. Saved a bunch of immigrants, pilgrims, that had come to their land. If it weren't for the Indians' help, the pilgrims would not have survived. It's that simple. The Indians showed them what to do, what to look for, how to farm, when to farm, what animals to deal with, and all kinds of things. And to show appreciation, the pilgrims had a tremendous, in terms of speaking, feast with the Indians to thank them for helping them survive and learn. Technically speaking, we are now celebrating the one biggest decision that that if you go back in time and look, that the American Indians would probably say they regret. I'm not talking about that. I don't know how to put it. I'm like stumbling all over my tongue here, but basically we're celebrating a holiday where, if given the chance of knowing the future, probably the Indians would have made the same choice. You know, the Americans in the future, after the Pilgrims survived and spread all that, our thanks for them was killing them off, tricking them, taking their land and their animals and their customs, and then giving them plots of land in some of the worst places, to live, dry, desert, sand, just terrible, areas to live in, putting them on reservations, and we still celebrate the act that made that possible. I don't know. I mean, I'm not stating it the way I want to. I just say that if you look at Thanksgiving for what it was and how we are now, you'll see that things have gone quite askew in the meaning of it. Kind of like the meaning of Christmas, and a couple other holidays like Easter. The meaning has gotten all askew in many, many ways. Commercialized for sure. That's why I never took holidays seriously when I was, after I had reached a certain age. I think it was about 16, I really kind of half stopped caring about holidays. I still enjoy a holiday meal. I still enjoy giving gifts and getting gifts. But, if I was asked to work, like if I was in a place that was open 24 hours a day, every day, and I was asked to work on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, Easter, I don't care what holiday it was, I worked. Because, to me, it's just another day. And I never really changed my stance on that, I don't know. To me, it just feels like my talking about this has gone all wrong from the message I was actually, trying to convey. So, I apologize if I upset, offend, or accuse confuse anybody. That was not my, that's not my intention. to say the least. Oh, so something I can talk about straight up and not mess up. In the last 100 kilometers we have to go on this trip. I finally got a straight answer from my internet service provider about what's going on and why the bandwidth and when it will be fixed. I kid you not. I literally had to finally come out and accuse them, not directly, but more of in a roundabout way, of throttling back the internet. I finally got a straight freaking answer. A guy called me up twice, actually, within a couple hours. I didn't get to the first one, but I got the second one, and he told me that step by step how everything works, you know, why things are the way they are, what they're doing, and they're basically running a whole new wire system, and they got a whole new circuit and all that, and logistics problems they've run into, and other things that are going on, and all kinds of stuff that I actually understood. I just can't remember word for word what he said, and I don't want to mess it up. Just enough to say that he gave me a very detailed description of what they're doing. Okay. However, the estimated time, okay, the estimated time for my internet service to be returned to normal, okay, to be returned to normal, March. I kid you not. 4 more months. 4 months. That is truly terrible. But as I've tried to do in my videos when I talked about, you know, things that were happening and difficult to deal with, I mean, I really got to hug this guardrail in order to make this corner. I don't know if I clipped that or not, to be honest with you. I clipped that, though. I knew that was going to happen. I should just really learn to slow the frick down when doing things like that. I just kind of get up ahead of steam and keep going, but... So, the silver lining is, until full service is restored, I am no longer being charged for my DSL connection. Yeah, that's right. I am basically getting my internet connection for free. So whereas I am angry that it's going to take so long to fix and I have to deal with this problem for so long, I really can't complain. And I'm going to be straight with you. As nice as it is and as cool as it is to be able to get for the next 4 months, plus I think I'm actually being credited the 2 months prior to this because it started in October, early October. So just say I'm getting the full 6 months out of this. Just because I'm getting the full 6 months is cool and all, but what I'm more grateful for and what I'm more happy about is I got a straight answer. I didn't need quite as much detail as he gave me to be happy, but don't get me wrong, I really appreciated all the detail he gave me. All I'm saying is that I'm just a lot more content with the fact that I got a very detailed answer about what was going on, what they're doing, why they're doing it, how it's going to work, And when, despite how far along it is, when I can expect it to hopefully be done. That means more to me than the credit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the fact I get a free internet even if it's at considerably slower speeds than what I should be getting. Still, it means more to me that I got a straight answer. Because when I'm faced with things like this, that's all I ever want, is a straight answer. And I was getting half answers and quarter answers and jerked around, and I didn't appreciate it, which is why I kept dogging them until I got a straight answer. Now, I don't appreciate how much I had to go through to get a straight answer, but in the long run, I guess beggars can't be choosers kind of deal, you know. At least I got one. Come on now, green light. Green light, there we go. Alright, well, here we are. Where I still feel a little bit, like, ashamed, embarrassed, if you will, about how I went about trying to describe how I feel about Thanksgiving and all that. Didn't do that very well, but still. And, you know, finally got that straight answer from my internet service provider. That meant quite a lot to me, and here we are at the end of our road for today. This is going to be an interesting back end, to say the least. I'm going to try and get as much turning distance as I can out of this. Because this is going to be interesting. Just because of how long it is, yeah? And I am... Oops, no. Too far. I am way off, but that's okay. Come on. Good enough. We got it. Nice. Okay, yeah. Let's see if it allows us... Yes, we can. Alright. So I'm not going to take it now. But next episode, tomorrow, I will be uploading. I'll take the loan and we'll buy our first truck. And sadly, it's not going to be the truck that I want. I actually wanted to go with the Renault Magnum, but game-wise, I can't buy that truck till I'm level 10. So the only way I could do it is to buy a truck, drive it around until I reach level 10, and then trade the truck I have in for a Renault Magnum. I don't know if I want to do that, but we'll see. Alright, folks, that's going to be me done for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, this is going to be One Big Bug. I'm going to be signing out. Have a happy Thanksgiving.